Good morning. Well, it's morning here. I don't know if it's morning everywhere else, but happy Sunday. I am just hopping on here to do a get ready with me. I know I did one of my stories, actually my personal Instagram stories like a while ago, but I haven't done one live in a long time. So it'll kind of be like a get ready with me mixed with a tutorial. So hang out and tell me all about your wonderful Sundays while I get myself ready for my day. So I'm just going to be doing pretty much everything except illuminator. So right after this video, oh, my hair's caught on my earring. Don't mind me. Right after this video, I'm going to go live on Facebook and I'm going to do like an illuminator information session, so to speak. And it's going to be all about powder illuminators versus cream illuminators and just how to use them, best practices, how to choose, all those kinds of great things. So without further ado, let's get started. Now all I've done this morning is clean my face. I used my cleanser and then I used some toner. So now I'm going to put on some Stay and I'm just spraying it onto my Perfector sponge, which is already damp. I did the Perfector before I cleaned my face so that it had a chance to dry a little bit, and then that way it's not too wet, because you don't want your Perfector sponges or your beauty blenders to be too wet, but you do want them damp. So you want them to be like, this is a pretty decent size as I compare this to my face. When it's dry, it's probably about half this size. So it's really, really good to get it damp so that it's not absorbing your product and your makeup without actually letting your face get any of the product. So with that, now that's going to be used as my primer, and that'll help like give some of the product something to stick to other than just my face. I didn't moisturize this morning because I knew that I was going to be doing my makeup soon. So you never want to moisturize if you're not going to be able to give your face like at least a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes to get all nice and soaked in. So I've got my 30-second hack brush. This is the side I'm going to use for contour. This is the side I'm going to use for highlight. Hack stands for highlight and contour. So I'm going to start with this pointed end. This is probably the most used hack brush, and I'm just going in. I'm working out of my clutch today, so I'm going in with Candlelit. If you saw on my stories last week, I got my new Candlelit in the mail, and I'm so happy because you can see like I have intense dark eyes and dark circles, and Candlelit is my perfect shade to help cancel out all of that redness and darkness. Sometimes it looks purple, and you can see like that was just a very, very tiny bit, and that's a huge difference. So you'll notice I also went on my eyelid because I wanted to balance out some of this. You can see some of the veins and it's just darkened, and I want that to all kind of blend in with the rest of my face. And I did dip again, and I'm using stippling motions, like I'm patting it onto the skin. I don't want to swipe because that's going to give me uneven coverage. And I will say, especially with this brush, if you have this brush and you're swiping and you don't like the way that it's sitting on your skin, it's because it's most likely not evenly distributed. So when you stipple it into the skin, it's going to sit nicer and blend nicer and just look like your skin, almost like a second skin. Now you'll notice that I went underneath the eyes, I went down around the mouth. I haven't done the upper lip yet, but I will now. And then I came back up this side, and I went under this eye and on that eyelid. So that's predominantly where you want your highlight. I am going to come down because I have quite a few blemishes on the upper cheekbone and right down into my lower jaw. So I'm going through, again, a very light layer, like I'm just tapping into my color and then distributing pretty evenly throughout my face. So you can still see some boogers poking through. Probably shouldn't call them boogers, that's gross. But blemishes are poking through still. I'm gonna go through again with just like a tiny bit more product and a more precision brush to cover up those bad boys. So I think that a lot of us have a really bad habit of putting on a ton of product in an attempt to cover maybe 2 or 3 spots, and that just ends up making our makeup look cakey and like it's sitting on the skin weird, and that's not what we want. Oh, my house is really warm right now, guys. Oh, I'm already breaking a sweat. This isn't good. I'm gonna put a little more on my nose. I kind of went down my nose when I was doing my forehead. You'll notice that I swipe more on my nose and on my forehead because I actually have pretty even skin on my nose and on my forehead. So if your face doesn't deal with a ton of blemishes like mine, like you might be able to swipe and get a better look. It's just not something that I've ever had success with because I have a lot more blemishes. So if you're trying to cover those blemishes, make sure, and you're trying to cover those red spots, that you're stippling and getting a really nice even blend. And so you can already tell like a huge difference, right? Like this looks so much more even than it did a moment ago, but you can still see a couple poking through. So I'm going to take, this is the detail hack, so this is the other hack brush. Obviously you could just pick one and stick with one of them because they both do the same thing, but you'll notice like the end that I was just using is much thicker than the end that I'm about to use, so I like combining them so that I can get really, really great coverage all over and then get a little extra coverage on those stubborn areas. So these areas are a little darker. I'm using the same color, and honestly I'm just tapping, like tap into that color, and then I just tap out onto the areas that I want extra coverage. And it's that simple. Now I still have some texture here and here because those are a little bit bigger blemishes, and so they're not going, the texture isn't going to go away. The texture's still going to be there, but I can at least balance out a lot of the color so that you don't actually notice them when you first look at me. If you're really looking for them, they're still there, obviously, but I feel more comfortable when the color is, because that's honestly blemishes. I think the most uncomfortable that we get with our blemishes is the colors of them. When they're like purple or red, like that's a really, really overwhelming overwhelming look. My cats are battling under the table. And we don't want that overwhelming excess of color because it doesn't look natural, because it's your inflammation, and you want your skin to look naturally one color, or at least not maybe one color, but neutralized color. So you'll notice that I didn't put this color everywhere. I'm actually still without colors here. I don't really have anything right here. I don't have anything on the top of my forehead, so I'm still gonna go through with different colors that fit those areas better, but I kind of got my base down. So I'm actually gonna switch back to the brush I was using before, and maybe I'm just gonna wipe it off on a paper towel here, just so that there's no excess candle lit. So I'm not like cleaning. I just have a paper towel and I'm running it back and forth. You can see there was a little bit of excess. It wouldn't have been a big deal, but I just wanted it to be a little bit nicer because I'm going to switch colors now. So I'm going to switch to, and I'm almost out of it, my brightening color, which is white peach. So candlelit is my actual base color, but then white peach, you'll see, is a lighter color, and I fill that in back here so that this matches my neck a little better. And then I'm going to also use this to brighten the under eye region. There's really not much left in that tin, so I'm trying to use it to the best of my ability. So you can see like that just matches my neck a little nicer because my neck is a little more pale, and so that way it ties the whole look in together, because our face has lots of different like shades to it, and you don't want to just go over it with one color and make yourself look a little fake. Like that's not going to be helpful. I'm also going to use the detail hack again, pardon me, and I'm going to get just a little bit on, and I'm going to go under my eye so you can kind of see this bag still right here, and I'm just going to touch very lightly and kind of build this out. This is my brightening color, like I said, and so this just adds a level of brightness to my face, and it eliminates that shadow of the under eye bag. Can you see the difference between this side and this side? Like, this is just, and I almost didn't even go right underneath the eye. I think that's where people have a ton of issues with balancing under eyes, is they go like right here. You really want to build out the like triangle shape underneath your eye, and you want to brighten that whole area, because if you were walking around with a ring light all day long, your brightest area on your face would be right here, right? And like right here and right here. So like those high points on your face, that's what should be brightest. And so I just take a very little bit. Your brightening color should last you a really long time. And I'm just brightening in those areas. Now, if you don't have under eye bags, you could just go in straight away with this color, and you wouldn't have to worry about layering it on top of your base color like I did. I have to layer it on top of my base color because my base color neutralizes the under eye bags almost entirely. And then I just come back and brighten here. And I just went on the eyelid a little because I saw that it was starting to crease, and I wanted to blend that out. I'm going to take care of that in a second. Because I'm talking, this is taking longer than it normally would. And so it has a little more time to crease up in that eyelid. So then that's much brighter now. I'm going to do the same thing on my nose. So I'm going to come down the center of my nose with that brighter color. And you can see like already what a difference that makes. I actually do this before I contour my nose, because this is what makes the contour look good, is how you brighten. So I'm brightening the center of my face so that when I go in with the contour, you can already see the shadow on the sides of my nose, right? Like there's no contour there at all yet, but you can already see some of it so that you don't have to go overboard when you contour. And you can bring it on your chin if you want a little more brightening down here as well. It's just kind of up to you. So then now I'm going to switch to contour, and I'm going to go back to the detail hack. So I'm really just kind of like switching. One second. Go. My cats. Sorry. So I'm going in between the two hack brushes. Again, you could like just stick with one. I just really like the versatility of having both of them. So I'm going back to the more rounded contour end, and I'm going to use the color Astoria, which is in my palette here, right here. I've had this since August. I did take a break from it and used indigo for a little while at the end of the summer though. So it might have run out if I was using it every single day, but I still have quite a bit of it. So I'm just putting this here right underneath my brow bone, or my cheekbones, my brow bones. Don't contour your brow bones. That was a mistake. And you can see that like I just kind of placed it there, and then now I'm fanning it out. You want to be careful with your contour. You don't want to come too far into your face. You want it to just look like a shadow over here. And then eventually it's also going to blend in with our blush. So you kind of don't need it to be perfect right away. You can just kind of get it where it's supposed to go and then blend out with your perfector or your brush later. So now I'm going around the top of the forehead. I also really like to come in right here so you can kind of see where my hairline dips. If you have that, you want a little contour right there, and then just blend that into the hairline. That just kind of rounds out the face a little nicely. It kind of gives your like the top part of your face like a little bit of a skinnier look. Like it brings the temples in just a bit. So that can be really nice. And then, like I said, I'm going to go down the sides of the nose. I'm not going to get a ton of product for this one, and I'm just going to come down where that shadow already exists. I'm going to do the same on this side because I still have some product left on the brush. And then I can go through and blend. Because I got a little bit right there. A little too much right there, I should say. But you can see that like that just looks super natural now. Like as I turn my face, you don't see a line of dark. It's not quite as intense as the cheek contour, but it's there. Now I'm going underneath the chin. You're just trying to go in the natural shadows of the face. So like where your face would naturally have like the hollow points, and you're just trying to give your face dimension. And it's kind of like a paint by numbers. You're just putting the right colors where they're supposed to go, and you're not like overworking yourself by like layering all different kinds of colors on top of another. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee, don't mind me. If you're watching this replay, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you are interested in getting your own colors and getting your own match. I can totally help you with that. Okay, so my highlight and contour is pretty much done. I'm gonna switch to some blush. I've been using Frenchie quite a bit, which is this orange peachy color right here, but I actually think I'm gonna use Plum today, which is also in my compact. So that's kind of nice because I can just switch in between. But you can kind of see this has a little Frenchie still left on it. So I'm actually going to clean this brush. I'm going to use my Restore brush cleaner. I just gave that a couple spritzes. And I'm actually cleaning this one out, so this one will be completely clean when I'm done. So I'm just wiping it out on that towel, the same towel I used just a minute ago. And now it's brand new, beautifully white again. So simple, and I can use it. I don't have to like hang it out to dry, which is really cool. Okay, so I'm getting some Plum. And okay, so for blush, your contour is sitting right here. You want your blush to be in front / above it. So I'm gonna smile, and you can see like this part of my cheek pops out. This is where you want to start it, right here. And do the same over here. I'm just kind of distributing the product. Get a little more. Right here and right here. And then you're going to swirl that out so that it matches up, because like right now, do you see that valley of bright color? Like you don't want that. You want these to marry and just become like a very small hint of color on your face. So like you can see a huge difference when it's blended correctly and when it's just sitting on your face. Now during the week, I do this with the same side that I contour with. So I would use this brush normally, which is the same one that I contoured with for my cheeks and my nose and my forehead and all that. So that way I only have to bring one brush with me. And the nice thing is if you're using this one, you can just flip it over if you feel like it's growing and you wanna blend out the line a little bit. You know, you can take this and flip it over and just make sure it looks all supernatural. Now, I'm gonna build this one up a little more. I feel like this one's a little less. I kind of like more blush in the winter because we typically are paler in the winter, and so you wanna go a little less with your contour, which is why I switched from indigo, because your skin shows the shadows so much more on its own when it's pale that you don't wanna like create this like really extended or like exaggerated look, but the blush makes us look like we're not stuck in the dead of January. Okay, from here, I think what I would typically do, I might do my brows already, and then I'm gonna set. So I'm gonna actually use the Know Your Angles brush, and I'm gonna use Astoria, which was what I used for my contour. And since this is a cream, I'm gonna do this before I set, so that when I set, it also sets my brows. I've been using my contour color quite a bit lately. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I love the color Trust for my brows. But I just switching things up. I've been trying Astoria, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like it. You have to, it's a little different than powder. So like when you have powder blends differently than cream. And so to avoid any harsh lines with powder, you kind of like go through it multiple times. Like you might like flick through multiple times. Whereas with the cream adheres to the hairs. And so like I'm building it up just right here in this spot because you can see it looks a little bald right here. But everywhere else, like I kind of only went over once. And then you can just brush it through with the spoolie end just to make sure it's firmed. And now this doesn't look crazy different from this one right here. Oh, Sorry, I thought my cats were into something again. My goodness, these guys are crazy today. They don't look crazy different, but it just kind of gives it a little more shape. And if you don't do your brows because you're scared, it can be very, very simple. You just got to figure out what look you're going for. So like this right here is pretty dark, but it matches my roots of my hair, which I'm actually getting lightened very soon. So excited. So it doesn't look too bad on me because it matches the roots of my hair, but you just got to figure out what you're comfortable with. Do you like drastic? Do you like really, really light? And if you need recommendations, I have a ton of recommendations, both for eyeshadows that work really well for brows and contour colors. The nice thing about contour colors is it's usually something you already have in your compact, so you don't have to go out and buy something else, which is really, really nice. All right, so let's set my stuff. Oh my gosh, so much powder. So I'm gonna spray with Stay. So I'm gonna spray right on my face this time. Like really close to my face. It comes out like a fire hose. If you have Stay spray, it's really intense. Just embrace it. And then I'm gonna take my damp perfector and I'm gonna dip that into some loose powder. I use the loose powder from Coty Airspun. I buy it at Walmart. It's like $6. I highly, highly, highly recommend it if you want to use a powder. I've used other powders, but I just have not had the same success. I know some people have had success with the Maskcara Vanilla Dust Setting Powder, but it's just not something that works for my skin, but I'm also very oily. So if you're looking for something that fits right in your compact, because there's, like I said, the Vanilla Dust one that comes with mascara fits right in here. Like you would get like a single like this of it. But it is pressed powder, it's not loose powder. So you would apply it probably with a brush. You could try to apply it with a sponge, but it would probably be difficult to get out of the tin. I just think that a brush would make your life a little easier. But I just really love the effect I get with using a damp perfector, using a loose powder. It just makes such a seamless set for me. So I have pretty much gotten the entire like base foundation down. From here, the only other thing I would do to my face is the illuminator, but I am gonna save that for when I go live on Facebook later today. So if you're just joining, I am just getting ready right now, but then later today I'm doing on my Facebook page, also Bryn Catherine's Beauty, I'm doing an illuminator powder versus cream illuminators, and we'll talk about like application and all that for highlighting those upper cheekbones and under the brow bone and that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna switch over to some eyeshadow, and I'm gonna do a pretty basic look because it's Sunday. I'm not looking for anything crazy. I feel like I always do bright eyes and kin though, so let me try to mix it up for you a little bit. Let's get some other colors, maybe some of the new ones. What should I use? I'm wearing pink earrings. Maybe I'll do some pink. What do you guys think of pink? Could use Tawanda. Tawanda is a pink. Oh my gosh, you ready? Look at that color. Pink! And it's shimmery. Maybe we'll use this one. And then I can use On Wednesdays as a base. Let's do that. I'll go for a little pink look today. How's that sound? So then this is On Wednesdays. It's a little lighter. I'll use that as a base. And then maybe I'll use Philly. Oh my gosh, guys. If you have not used Philly, it's one of the new ones. It's a matte brown. It's to die for. It's like all you could ever want out of life. Okay, I'm just trying to get myself organized. Bear with me for a moment. Where is my eyeshadow brush? There we go. This one still has a little bit of remnants on it as well, so I am going to clean this one. I'm actually going to spray right on the towel for this one and then swirl it on the spot I sprayed. It still works the same. And again, nice and clean now. There's the old eyeshadow, and it's ready to use. So cool. Okay, so I'm going to go with On Wednesdays at first. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to do like an all over lid color with On Wednesdays. This is one of the older colors, but it comes formulated in the new formula now. So it's a little creamier than the one I'm using. It's still a powder. They don't break anymore as easily, which is so cool, because if you've ever had a powder break on you, it's like the worst day of your life. So, and I actually had one of my older ones break on me just recently, and I was like, this is why they changed the formula. And it is so creamy now. I didn't actually think that they could get any better, and then they did. They just always outdo themselves all the time. So you can see that that's actually like really light. Like this is a very pale pink. It is a little shimmery. I don't know if you can tell, but it just kind of makes a really great base because it doesn't make me feel like too extra on a Sunday. But it's right there as a nice pop of color to kind of build up from. So you could totally just rock this color if you wanted. I am going to add to it just a little bit. Haha, hey Claudia. You know what's funny is I don't mind pinks for my eyes. That's the only thing. So I'm kind of doing a pink look, but I'm throwing in a really dark brown at the end. So I'm still kind of faking it. But what Claudia is saying is that I don't like pinks. I hate pinks on my lips. Hate them. I really don't like pink lipstick. I don't know why. And I constantly force myself to wear it because I'm like, someday I'm going to like it. I just don't. So now I'm going to use Philly. I'm actually going to my darkest color next. I'm not going to use my Tawanda color until the very end because I'm just going to kind of like dust it on the top. But this is going to give me a nice guide. So I'm using the smudge side of the not know your angles, what's this called? Eyeshadow Everything. And I'm going to take this under the lash line, just like the outer half, and then up into the crease. This is like the easiest way for me to fake a wing. So I just like to come up into the upper crease, and then you can also kind of go and make like an outer V shape here, just to give your eye a little bit of depth. You don't want to bring dark colors into the center of your eye. You really want to keep them on this half of your eye so that you're adding some dimension, but you're not closing off the look of your eye. And you can see I'm not even using, I haven't even dipped again. Like I think I dipped twice. I dipped once to get the lower lash, and then I dipped again, and I'm working on this V now. And I'm just kind of going back and forth until I like the way that looks. And you want to keep your eye open because you don't want to do beautiful eyeshadow with your eye closed, then open your eye and you can't see it. That sucks. And if you have hooded eyes, which I do have a little bit of hooded eyes, which means like this hangs over my eye. So like there's a part of my eye that if my eyebrows aren't raised, you don't see. So I have to be more careful about where I put this. So if you have hooded eyes, you gotta be careful about that as well. Make sure you keep your eye open as you apply. So again, lower lash line, and then I'm building up, faking that wing, because I'm not gonna do any eyeliner, I don't think, today, right? That's a little deep, so I actually think I'm gonna blend this one out a little more so it gets a little more natural. There we go. So then you can see like that just adds a little something to the eye. You could even come a little bit on the top lash line, just a bit, if you want to kind of complete the look, right? You can see the difference from here to here, and then you really don't need eyeliner if you don't want eyeliner. So I'm just coming a little on the top of that lash line, again right in the outer corner. That's the key, is staying to the outside, because I'm going to go in with Tawanda in a moment and kind of build up the center of the eye. And again, if you don't have Philly, oh my gosh, I think Philly or Ivy League are probably my two favorite new eyeshadow colors, and they're both matte, so what does that say about me? But the Ivy League one is just this like gorgeous green, and if you have eye colors like an eye color like mine where they're like more of a cooler toned green or maybe even like a hazily brown, greens and purples look great, so that's why I love it. Okay, I'm going to use this Tawanda, and I'm actually going to use my finger, so I'm getting it right on my finger, and I'm going to kind of dab at the center of my eyelid. You can kind of see I'm going kind of up to the Philly, but I'm not really going into that inner corner just yet. And that adds a little bit of dimension, a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shimmer. It's kind of like the On Wednesdays that I put on. but it's got a little more brightness to it. It took me forever. Oh my gosh, I worked for this company for 4 months before I realized that On Wednesdays was a reference to Mean Girls, and it made me love that color even more. So then there's Tawanda. You can kind of get crazy with it and you can build it up even more. I think I'm going to leave it right there for now. And then that's just going to be, those are going to be my eyes for today. And now I just need some mascara and I'm done. Now if you, oh, I gotta do lips, but if you are just joining, I've said it a couple of times, but if you missed it, I'm actually only doing, or not only, I'm doing everything but illuminator on here because I'm gonna go on to Facebook here in just a moment and do an illuminator like how to. If you're trying to pick illuminators, cream versus powder, and like what to use to apply them best, I'm just gonna go through all of that information because I have a lot of people when they're building their compacts ask me which is better, and there's a couple things to keep in mind, but it is really up to you. And I think the easiest way to tell you, or the easiest way for you to make your decision, is just to tell you what I know about how to apply them and what like fits into your lifestyle better based on what when you're doing your makeup, where you're doing your makeup. For example, I do my makeup pretty much exclusively at work, except on the weekends. So I like things that are on the go, that I can use one brush for, that I can use multiple, you know, versatility, and just kind of get everything done as is. So that's just about it. Let's do some lips. I'm just gonna wear my go-to. It's my fave. I freaking love it. So I tried this on Facebook a few months ago. It's the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. I love this color so much. It's called Seductress, and it's not a pink, so I love it. Usually I line my lips for this, but I'm kind of lazy today. And you can see it's like a very neutral nude. It really isn't too crazy, but it stays all day long and I love it so much. Actually, when I'm like going all out, what I'll do is I'll line my lips with indigo, and then I put on Sandstone, which is my all-time favorite mascara color ever, and then I go over it with this, which gives it a little bit of a more red look. But this is just my favorite. And if you're someone who's prone to dry lips, because it is a matte, I would put a little bit of chapstick on the inner heart of your lips while it's drying, just to give it a little more moisture. But then this will last me all day long. Thanks for hopping on and joining in. If you have any questions about colors or anything that I did today, please let me know. I am gonna hop over onto Facebook if you guys wanna follow me and do an illuminator tutorial here in just a moment. So happy Sunday, folks.